Hi everyone, I'm Yolanda, and in today's tutorial I will be making a cookies bouquet. These cookies are decorated with royal icing. So let's get started. And to make these cookies we are going to be using 1 cup of butter at room temperature, 1 egg, 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour with half teaspoon of baking powder and half teaspoon salt. Also 1 cup of sugar and 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. I like to start the process by cutting the butter into small pieces. This is to help the mixer. Also, I am going to combine the dried ingredients, the flour, the baking powder, and the salt. Next, I will cream the butter with the sugar. After creaming the butter with the sugar, I will add the egg and the vanilla. Then I will add the dried ingredients, the flour, the baking powder, and the salt. And I'm going to beat that until my bowl is clean. As I mix all these ingredients, the dough is going to turn into a ball, and as that happens, the size of the mixing bowl will be cleaned, and this is an indication that my dough is ready. Now I stop my mixer and I clean the paddle, and then I'm going to turn the dough into 2 separate balls. I will then wrap them in either plastic or wax paper, and I'm going to refrigerate that for about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. When I bake my cookies, I like them to be all of the same thickness. For that, I'm going to use 2 dowel rods. They are both 5/16 of an inch. I'm going to place them right on top of where I'm going to be rolling out my dough. I'm going to then place a piece of wax paper over the dowel rods. And the other piece of wax paper that I will cut, I will going to use that to put it on top of the dough before I start rolling it out. Now that my dough has been chilled, I'm going to roll it out. I'm going to roll it out between the 2 dowel rods. In this way, the thickness of the cookie will be the same as the thickness of the dowel rods, which in this case the thickness is 5/16 of an inch, like I said before. I'm going to place the piece of wax paper on top of the dough, which is between the 2 dowel rods, and I'm going to roll it out. For these cookies, I'm using a round cutter, which is about 3 inches in diameter. And I'm using a small spatula to lift the cookie off the paper. In this way, my fingers will not make any dents on the cookie, and I place it on a baking sheet. To make more cookies, I'm going to do the same process again. I just want to point out, when you start working, cutting the cookies, do not bring out the entire batch of cookie dough. You should always leave some in the fridge so that way the cookie dough will not get warm in your kitchen, because when this happens you can't cut the cookies properly. The dough should always be cold. If you notice that the cookie dough starts to get soft and greasy, put it back in the fridge so it could harden again. Look at the thickness. It's the same thickness as the dowel rods. I'm going to show you how the thickness is the same, both in the thickness of the cookie and also the thickness of the dowel rod. If I take the cookie that I just cut right now, I take it and I also take one of the dowel rods and I put the dowel rod against the thickness of the cookie, you will see that they both are the same thickness. Look at that, you see? And this is what you want. You want the thickness to be all throughout the whole batch, the entire batch, each cookie. You want them to be of the same thickness. If you like thicker dough, then you get a thicker dowel rod. If you like thinner cookies, then you will get thinner dowel rods. I'm going to continue cutting all my cookies. From this batch that I made, you will get from 20 to 24 cookies of the same 5/16 of an inch of thickness. After I cut all the cookies, I will place them in my freezer and I'm going to let them freeze for about 20 minutes. I do this so that way when you place the cookies in the oven, the cookies as they start to bake, they do not lose the shape. Sometimes you see cookies that are out of shape is because they had not been frozen before baking. So just be sure that you freeze your cookies, and once you take them out of the freezer, put them in the oven. I will bake these at 350 degrees Fahrenheit from 10 to 12 minutes, no more. You do not want to burn your cookies either. And here they are, ready for the freezer. And by the magic of technology, I just pop them out of the oven. I'm going to let them cool for maybe an hour or so before I start decorating them. I also made these supports for the back of each cookie. If you notice, they are two round, small, tiny cookies that I cut, and I'm going to show you very briefly how I did that. Take a small piece of dough, roll it out, then take a large tip, use it as a cutter and cut a circle. Roll out another small piece of the dough. Take a regular size tip and also cut another circle. Take the end of the regular size tip and cut a hole in each of the center of each cookie, just like this, and bake this at 350 degrees, just like you did with the cookies. And now what I need to do is just glue the circles to the back of the cookie using royal icing. Take the large circle with a hole in the middle, glue it to the cookie. Then take the smaller circle and with royal icing glue it to the large circle, and that is it. Then all you need to do is let it dry. And now it's time to decorate my cookies. I'm using royal icing with a stiff consistency. For the leaves, I'm using large tip 366. I'm also going to be using a variety of Russian tips. This is a Russian tip. The tip is number 15. This is a Russian tip number 10. And this one is also a Russian tip, tip number 5. This is also tip number 5, but the center of the flower is a dark color. This is a 2-tone or maybe 3-tone flower. This is the same tip number 5, but this one I'm making it to look more like a small flower. It all depends on the pressure that you make when you pipe with the Russian tip. You can get a lot of different roses or tulips with the same tip. It depends on the pressure that you apply to the tip as you pipe. If you notice, these two were made with the same tip, but they look different. Now this one is tip number 2. This looks more like a tulip. This one is tip number 6. Now I'd like to show you how I made 2 different type of flowers. This one, small flowers, and the larger flower using the same tip. You can make a lot of different flowers, like I said before, with just one tip. After all my cookies were decorated, this is the bouquet that I arranged. I placed the lollipop sticks inside the cookies. Remember when we made the back or the support for the back? It was done for this purpose, to insert the lollipop sticks in the cookies. So that was the support for the lollipop sticks. And as you can see, I can remove these cookies and place them in different places wherever I want. I like this method instead of just piping royal icing and gluing the stick to the royal icing, but you can choose whatever method you like. This has been all for today. Thank you for visiting. I hope that you enjoyed the tutorial and that you had as much fun as I did. You may share this video with as many people as you like. And if you like to subscribe to my channel to receive other tutorials like this one, please do so. Thank you again. I will see you back here next week with another tutorial. Until then, may God bless.